Chapter 19 of Yudhaanathara Parva, Yudhishthira reaches the heavens. The mental effort of the last few days had been too much for Arjuna. He was revived with perfumed water. Arjuna woke up from the faint. With great sobs racking his frame, he told them all about how he burnt the dead forms of Balarama, Satyaki, and Krishna. He told them everything. He told them about the sea claiming the beautiful city of Dwaraka, the story of the robbers, and the failing of the Gandiva to frighten a mere band of robbers was the final tragedy. The five brothers sat still. They were all thinking of the same thing. Arjuna told them about the dream when Krishna took leave of him. Their tears would not flow. Everything inside them had died the instant when they heard about the death of Krishna. There was nothing left to live for in the world. Krishna was gone. There was no meaning in living anymore. They lost interest in everything. Yudhishthira said, Arjuna, in the cauldron of time we are all melted away until we lose ourselves. It is now time we melt and lose our individuality. We are now bereft of everything that was dear to us. With the death of Krishna, our lives should end too. Arjuna said, Yes, my lord, it is time who is the ultimate victor. Hearing the words of Yudhishthira and Arjuna, Nakula, Sahadeva and Bhima agreed with them. The Pandavas decided to leave the earth and set out on the final journey. Yudhishthira made all the necessary arrangements. He crowned Parikshit as the king. Yuyutsu was appointed as his guardian and Kripa was his guru. The Pandavas announced to the people of the city that they had decided to renounce everything and set out towards the heavens. No one could stop them. They were firm in their resolution. The Pandavas were ready for the great journey. Clad in tree barks and deer skin, they stood in front of the palace door taking final leave of the citizens. Draupadi, dressed in tree bark and without her jewels and silks, stood by their side. The city set up a wail of woe. The Pandavas looked the same as they did years back when they were exiled from Hastinapura. But it was different now. A strange peace had entered their souls. Their faces were glowing with an inward light. They bade farewell to Hastinapura and went away. They first went towards the city of Dwaraka. They saw the city submerged under water. They stood on the shores of the sea. Out of the sea their dreams seemed to speak to them, their dreams of the long ago. While they were absorbed in the contemplation of the past, Agni appeared before them. He said, Arjuna, you are still having the Gandiva and the quivers with you. I got them from Varuna for you. They have served their purpose. You do not need them anymore. Please return them to Varuna. Arjuna's heart just broke. He took up the Gandiva and the quivers. He made a pradakshina to them and with tears in his eyes, he threw them into the ocean. The Pandavas were travelling towards the north. Soon they reached the great range of mountains, the great Himavan. They crossed that. They came to the mountain Meru. As they were proceeding, Draupadi dropped down dead. It was a dreadful happening. Bhima was dumb with the shock of it. He composed himself and asked Yudhishthira why Draupadi, who was faultless, should fall down dead. Yudhishthira said, Bhima, though we were all her husbands, she was more fond of Arjuna. That is the only sin she committed. But for that, she was pure. That is the reason why she could come so far. They left her there and proceeded further. Sahadeva was the next to fall. It was because he was proud of his wisdom that he had to fall, said Yudhishthira. Nakula died next. Yudhishthira told Bhima that Nakula was vain about his beauty. It was Arjuna's turn next. Bhima was told that he had to fall because he had sworn that he could kill all the enemies all by himself. He had insulted all the other great heroes by his remark. That was the reason for his death. They went some more distance. Bhima was the last to fall. He called out to Yudhishthira, Why should I fall? What have I done, my lord? Yudhishthira said, My beloved Bhima, you have ever been dear to me, but the only fault I could find in you was this. You would boast about your strength. You are a great eater too. Otherwise, there is no one like you in this entire world, Bhima. Yudhishthira went on and on, alone in his pursuit of peace. Ever since they left Hastinapura, a dog had been following the Pandavas. It went with the party till the very end. Yudhishthira's brothers were gone and their queen was gone, but this dog was still with Yudhishthira. He had reached the end of the journey. Yudhishthira saw a strange glow all around him. He saw Indra come in his chariot. Indra descended from his chariot and approached Yudhishthira. He said, Yudhishthira, you must get into this chariot. I have brought it myself as a special mark of honor. Please come with me to the heavens. Yudhishthira did not want to go to the heaven without his brothers and without Draupadi. He said, My brothers and my beloved Draupadi set out with me on this journey. They were all fallen down. Their human bodies have been abandoned and I do not know where they have gone. Unless they all come with me, I will not come with you. Indra smiled at him and said, My dear Yudhishthira, they have also gone to heaven. They have cast off this human body, but you have been asked to come with me. You have been granted the privilege of entering the home of the gods with your human form. Yudhishthira said, I am honored, my lord, by your coming. Now that you assure me that I will meet my dear ones there, I am prepared to go to heavens with you. Please let me bring this dog with me. It has been with me ever since I left Hastinapura. It is devoted to me. I would like to bring it along with men to heaven, along with me to heaven. Indra laughed at him and his foolish love for a dog. He said, Yudhishthira, you have been granted immortality. You are my equal. You have been the most fortunate person in the world. Please do not lose all this because of your love for a dog. There is no place in the heaven for a dog. Please abandon it and come with me. Yudhishthira shook his head. He said, My lord, you are asking me to do something which I cannot do. This dog has shared all my troubles so far. It has been devoted to me. I cannot abandon this dog. Indra said, You are just foolish. You have come to the threshold of heaven and yet you are affected by human feelings. I cannot take this dog in my chariot. Yudhishthira said, All the acts of mine which have earned this heaven for me will be destroyed if I behave without compassion towards this dog. It has been my rule never to abandon one who is dependent on me. This dog is a dependent. I cannot leave it and go. Indra said, You have abandoned all your brothers and your queen. Is this dog then more dear to you? Yudhishthira said, They were all dead. I could not revive them. I would not have left them if they had been alive. But this dog is alive. I cannot leave it. I will not enter the heaven unless I am allowed to bring this dog with me. That is certain. The dog now changed its form. It assumed the form of his father, Dharma. He said, My son, I am proud of you. Your compassion wins my heart. Once before, in Dvaitavana, when you were in the presence of your dead brothers, I tested your righteousness. You passed the test. When you asked for the life of Nakula, again I have tested you today. You have pleased me. Go with Indra to the heavens. You have earned. The place was now crowded by the denizens of heaven. They had come to see the first person who was to reach the heavens with his human body. It was never done before. Narada said, Yudhishthira, you will now be in the company of all your ancestors. The great kings who ruled earth before you are all there. You can be with them always. Yudhishthira said, I am honored by these words of yours, my lord. Yudhishthira ascended the great chariot of Indra. The chariot rose up in the air and travelled in the sky. They reached the city called Amaravati. Yudhishthira was taken to the great hall. Narada showed him all the kings who were there. He said, Look at all the kings who were your ancestors. They have perfumed the pages of time with their good deeds and their lasting fame. You are now one of them. Yudhishthira looked all around. His eyes scanned the entire hall. He said, I do not see my brothers here. I do not see my queen here. I want to go where my brothers have preceded me. I do not want any other place for myself. I want to be taken to my brothers. Indra heard these words. He said, Yudhishthira, stay here in this great hall. You have earned a place in heaven. You are the most righteous king that ever ruled the earth. It is but right that you should stay on here. Why do you still allow worldly emotions to affect you? You are not on the earth anymore. You are in heaven. Cast off this foolish love for your brothers. You can stay on here. You can be happy here. Yudhishthira was hearing the words of Indra, but his eyes were searching for his brothers everywhere. He could not find them anywhere. Yudhishthira looked at Indra and said, You are the Lord of the gods, and you are granting me the privilege, the great privilege of being with you. But my Lord, I cannot stay in this place, not even for a moment. My brothers are not here. Without them, heaven will be just hell for me. I am prepared to forego this great privilege that I have been granted. You must tell me the place where they are. You must take me to the place where I can find the dark Draupadi. Take me to the place where I can find my beloved Bhima and Arjuna. I want to be with my brothers Nakula and Sahadeva. I want to be with the sons of Draupadi. I do not want anything else. Please take me to them. They were all watching him. He was startled into action. He looked at all the people, searching for his brothers, and his eyes lighted on Duryodhana. Shri Krishna Pranamastu. Chapter 20 of Yudhaanathara Parva, The Rules of Heaven. Duryodhana was in the heaven which Yudhishthira had earned with so much effort. Duryodhana was seated on a jewelled seat. He was so full of splendor. He was sitting in the midst of all the kings who had made the earth richer by their good actions. Yudhishthira was amazed. He said, I cannot bear to see this Duryodhana here. He has been the cause of the death of so many kings of the earth. He was a very sinful man. He does not please my eyes. I will not stay in this heaven with Duryodhana as my companion. O ye gods, please take me away from here. Please take me to my brothers. I cannot stay here for even a moment more. Narada heard these words. He smiled gently at him and said, Listen to me, Yudhishthira. I will tell you how your cousin Duryodhana came to this place. He is loved by all the kings here. He has reached heaven because he died fighting. His soul has been cleansed because he died fighting bravely. He had been harassing good men like you for years. He has been the cause of the death of so many. It is all true. But, my child, Duryodhana was true to his birth. He was a Kshatriya and he died as a Kshatriya should. He was never afraid. He ruled his kingdom justly. You must not judge him as a human being does. The rules of heaven are different from those of the earth. Every sin of a Kshatriya is forgiven if he dies a noble death. Again, Duryodhana died on the holy spot called Samanta Panchaka. Balarama granted that he should go to heaven. Gandhari's penance is also responsible for this. You must forget your anger against Duryodhana. This is heaven. Yudhishthira, there is no place for enmity in heaven. Yudhishthira heard all that he was told. His form was trembling with eagerness to meet his brothers. He said, My lord, I am stranger to heaven. I do not know the rules of heaven. I am still a human being with the feelings of a man from the earth. I am wondering about my brothers. If this sinner Duryodhana deserves this heaven, what about my dear brothers? They have never swerved from the path of truth and duty. They are great heroes. They are great men. I want to see which place has been assigned to them. I want to see my elder brother Radheya. I am so eager to see Satyaki and Drishtadyumna. I want to see all my friends who died for me. I want to see my child Abhimanyu. I want to see my friends Krishna. Please take me to them. Yudhishthira's voice was a wail of agony now. His impatience was pathetic. He could not speak anything else. He wanted to be taken to his brothers. Again he spoke. He said, There were so many kings who died for me. I do not see them here. Radheya must be here. I do not see him here. Where is Abhimanyu? I do not understand the rules of heaven. I will be happy only if I am in the company of my brothers. The attendants of Indra were there. Indra said, if you are bent on meeting them, I will send you to them. My attendants will take you there. They will do anything you wish. The attendants led the way and Yudhishthira followed. The path was very long. Gradually, the slow and beauty that were found near heaven were being lost. It was now dimly lit and dark. Later, it was completely dark where they were going. The atmosphere was full of poisonous smells. It was intolerable. The place looked like another Kurukshetra. Dead forms and worms and horrible things were to be found everywhere. Yudhishthira said, why this place is dreadful? Where can I find my brothers? Where is the spot? They said not a word. Yudhishthira said, to which god does this part of heaven belong? I want to know. The attendant said, my lord, this is the road that leads you to your brothers. We have been asked to take you as far as you are able to go. If you find this place unbearable, you can retrace your steps. It was not possible for Yudhishthira to stand there. The air was so poisonous. He stood for a moment and decided to return. He was about to turn back. He heard voices speaking to him. The voices said, Yudhishthira, please do not go back. Please do not go away. Please stand where you are. Your coming has relieved us of our sufferings. You are righteous. Your presence is soothing to us in our agony. Please do not go away. Yudhishthira thought that the voices were familiar. He said, who are you that call out to me for help? The voices said, I am Radheya, I am Bhima. Yudhishthira heard the voices of all his brothers and Draupadi and Drishtadyumna. Yudhishthira was amazed at this. His anger was now beyond all control. He said, why are they all here? They have been sinless. I cannot understand the rules of heaven. A man like that sinful Duryodhana is in heaven, glowing like a second Indra, and my brothers and Draupadi and all those who are dear to me are in hell. Am I awake or am I asleep? Is this a nightmare? Yudhishthira turned to the attendants of Indra and asked, I have heard the voices of my brothers. You can all go back to your master and tell him that Yudhishthira has found his heaven. An hour passed thus. Then came to Yudhishthira Indra and all the other gods of heaven. When they came, the place took on a different appearance. The darkness lifted and the place lost its dreadful appearance. The air was now sweet and pure and it was all mysterious to Yudhishthira. Indra spoke to him. He smiled and said, the heavenly host is pleased with you, Yudhishthira. You have earned the heavens today. Your love for your brothers is wonderful. It is the rule that hell must be passed by every king. You had to pass through this hell for that reason. Also because of that one lie you spoke when Drona was killed, you are now free from all sin. You say that you cannot understand the rules of heaven. I will tell you. A man whose sins are greater than his good actions reaches heaven first. After this time of his stay in heaven expires, he goes to hell. But for a man whose good actions exceed his sins, hell is his first dwelling place. Then he reaches heaven. Your sins have been few. In fact, only one sin is ascribed to you, that one lie. As for your brothers, you have yourself told Bhima what sins they have committed. For that, they had to stay in hell for the period of a few hours. They are all cleansed of their sins. Drishtadyumna was also made to stay in hell for just a few hours. They are all now in heaven. Come with me. This was all just an illusion. Your brothers are not here. Come with me. I will show them to you. Dharma came there. He said, this is the third and final test. You have proved that you are the image of me. I was responsible for all this experience of yours. Come now and see all of them in heaven. They took Yudhishthira to the river Ganga, which flowed in heaven. He bathed in it. He was able to cast away his human feelings and his body was now divine. In a happy frame of mind, Yudhishthira went to heaven with the gods. They entered the great hall of Indra. Krishna sat there in the midst of all the gods. By his side, smiling at Yudhishthira, sat Arjuna. They rose up and came to the side of Yudhishthira and welcomed him. With them he saw Radeya, his dear brother. He was with 12 sons. Yudhishthira saw Bhima surrounded by the Maruts. Nakula and Sahadeva were with the heavenly twins, the Ashwinis. They all came to him and welcomed him to heaven. Draupadi was there, glowing like a big flame. She was surrounded by her sons. Satyaki and all the heroes of Vrishni house were there. Abhimanyu was there by the side of the cool and charming moon. Drishtadyumna was found by the side of Agni. Bhishma was seen with the Vasus and Drona was by the side of Brahaspati. Duryodhana's sins were all redeemed and he had attained the heavens. He was not doomed to hell. Vidura was seen in the company of Dharma and they came to Yudhishthira to take him with them. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.